You know, my mother wondered when I was going to get a real job. She said, after you're a legal aid, you're going to actually be a lawyer. So I know all of you sitting out there have had mothers, and I'm sure you could relate to how proud she is of the things that we've been able to accomplish. I can also say there's little certainty in life, but I can be certain of one thing. I'm the only person who was a legal aid lawyer, the commissioner of the Human Resources Administration, who got an honorary degree from New York Law School and got to Carnegie Hall. And if you look around, I mean, I hope you did look around, it's pretty extraordinary. I mean, I once tried a case in basically a broom closet in a court in the Bronx. And it was a little smaller, but it's quite a grand place. Thank you, Dean Crowell and Board Chair Abby and members of the board and the faculty and the staff, and of course, New York Law School students for this humbling honor. This honor is humbling because all I've done is use my law degree to help those in need, which is exactly what all of you members of the class of 2014 will have the opportunity to do. At the same time, I'm very grateful for this opportunity to put on a cap and a gown. I guess I didn't get the cap, but I did get the gown, thank goodness, because I never had the opportunity to wear it when I graduated from college or law school. When I graduated from college, we were protesting investment in South Africa and financial aid cuts at my university, and so we didn't have a same kind of graduation that everyone's having today. And when I was in law school, the weather was awfully nice in Washington Square Park. So, so thank you for letting me share in your moment of pomp and circumstance as you face your opportunities to really make a difference in the lives of others, and these are the opportunities that really beckon to you. I also want to congratulate Kathleen Grimm for the recognition today of her many contributions through public service. Her career really highlights how you can use a law degree to improve the lives of children. And your dean, who himself has had a long career in public service, also personifies what it means to be a public servant. Now, I was told that I could speak for 15 to 20 minutes, but to tell, yeah, grown, me too. But to tell you the truth, I learned how to practice law in courts where you had at best a minute or less to make your point. So I plan to yield much of my allocated time back to you in the interest of enabling you to celebrate this great milestone. And in all my years at Legal Aid, I also know that it's important not to stand between an audience and a celebratory meal. Applaud your stick mic, go ahead. So congratulations to the class of 2014 for reaching this important juncture in your careers, and it really reflects an extraordinary amount of higher education. And also congratulations to your family and friends and loved ones. You too deserve a round of applause for the support, both financial and non-financial. So listen, graduates, now for the bad news. Do you remember that I said that a skill I learned was the ability to present legal arguments in a minute or less? You remember that? Imagine that. With all of your higher education and multiple degrees, you can't use all that many words, even in Latin, that you've mastered during these years. I'm sorry to be the bearer of that bad news. I hate to break it to you, but keeping it simple is the key to being an effective advocate. Think of it this way. If you're visiting friends or family for a holiday and you're asked, what do you do or what do you plan to do? You know how the person's eyes glaze over if you can't distill your hopes and dreams in a few penetrating sentences? Well, that's like a dress rehearsal for practicing law. Because whether it's in the courtroom or another forum or counseling clients, practicing law requires the same ability to distill concepts and information that you have experienced in those uncomfortable moments around the table on the holidays. Think of it like this. It's like painting a picture with a very economical use of paint. Here's another thing that I've learned over the years, and you might want to consider it as advice not just for the practice of law, but for living life. There's a difference between listening and hearing. If you want to be an effective advocate, you have to hear what other people are really saying, not just listen to their words. Because if we listen without hearing, we're more likely to miss the forest for the trees in both our professional and personal lives. Okay, by now you must be wondering, why did the law school decide to give this guy an honorary degree? I mean, so far, this ex-legal aid lawyer, now city commissioner guy hasn't said a word about public service. We're getting there. We make a serious mistake when we divide our profession into those who practice public interest law and those who are in private practice and those who pursue government or judicial service and those who are in other professional practice silos. Our entire profession, which you're entering into, has an opportunity to make substantial contributions to the public interest. For example, over my career, I had the opportunity to make a contribution as a public interest lawyer, and now to the pursuit of justice as a government official. But I've also worked closely with lawyers in private practice and members of the judiciary, particularly our visionary chief judge, who have made immense contributions to the public interest. So much is being written about our profession as being in transition at a crossroads, about the uncertain prospects for graduates today. But you have an opportunity to change how we view public interest law and access to justice. This work is not lawyering practiced only by a part of our profession. Making contributions as lawyers to provide access to justice is an obligation that we all have as part of the privilege of having a law license. And in every sector of our profession, we have colleagues who are leading by example. So as you proceed with your careers, you can reinforce this basic principle by looking for opportunities to pursue public interest and pursue access to justice in every nook and cranny of your professional lives, no matter what path you choose for your profession. Okay, so now we're on a roll and we're also coming to the end. Sometimes I've been asked about how my colleagues and I at Legal Aid and now my colleagues at HRA developed some of our initiatives to make a difference. And the answer is very simple. Be creative. In fact, a distinguished jurist once said to us at the very beginning of the right to shelter litigation in the early 1980s, and this is a quote, "Do you have any law on this, or do you just make it up as you go along?" I took that as a great compliment to the creativity of our arguments on behalf of clients who had nothing standing between them and potential death or serious injury on the streets except the power and clarity of our legal arguments based on a 1930s provision of the state constitution adopted when New Yorkers were living in shanties in Central Park and along the Hudson and the East River. And what else should you think about as you go forth in the profession today? You might consider all the possibilities that lay before you, and people talk about heroes, and it's an overused term, and not so long ago, those great heroes, Simon and Garfunkel, wondered where they had all gone. But as you consider all the possibilities to use your soon-to-be awarded law degrees, think about the people you know personally, or have admired from afar, whose example might help you be the kind of lawyer who can make a difference. For me, that person was someone named Al Lowenstein. Who he was and what he accomplished to bend the arc of history are things you can find out by asking the Google, a modern-day oracle that Al Lowenstein couldn't possibly imagine would have existed. He served one term in Congress, and he used to tell a story about the effort to remediate the polluted Cuyahoga River in Cleveland. Anyone from Cleveland here? No? Come on, shout it out for Cleveland. He and a small band of others in Congress tried repeatedly and unsuccessfully to allocate funding to clean up the river as an environmental justice matter. And then one day, an unexpected opportunity presented itself. The Cuyahoga caught on fire. And Allard and his colleagues rushed to the floor of the House and successfully proposed an allocation of immediate federal funds to fight the fire and address the underlying conditions as a matter of fire safety. So what does that mean to all of you in the class of 2014? It's pretty simple. When you see an opportunity to do justice, seize the moment. So let me end with two final pieces of advice. One, I don't know if I'm allowed to say at a law school, but first, do not wait until after July 4th to begin to study for the bar. I can tell you, if you use your time wisely, there are enough hours in the day, but why cut it that close? And that, last but not least, remember this, and it's a saying that somebody who you'll recognize in a moment penned at a time in her life of great difficulty. She said, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world." Harriet Tubman said that. Imagine the world without what she dreamed and then she did. Practicing law does not mean that you cannot dream of a world as it should be. New York Law School is about to bestow upon you the means to turn dreams into reality. Go and do it. Good luck.